things happen. And as I have more and more complex systems with shorter and shorter time frames in terms of execution,
Right.
we're going to have mistakes. So, that leads to what will the SEC do? And this is certainly bad news for high-frequency trading.
Bad news for high-frequency trading. Well, that was Sanford C. Bernstein analyst Brad Hinn speaking earlier this morning about the Knight Capital debacle at Bloomberg Surveillance and about the risks of high-frequency trading. The Security Traders Association, though, says there's a lesson to be learned in Knight Capital. I've got Jim Toes with me. He's the president and CEO of this group. And Jim, just listening to what Brad is saying, that this is bad for high-frequency trading. Would you agree?
Well, I don't know if we'd really start commenting on high-frequency trading as far as whether this is bad for it or not. I mean, there are certainly a lot of benefits that high-frequency trading.
This is separate. We just want to make that clear, is that this is separate from high-frequency trading.
I believe so, yes, because in our opinion, Knight Securities is not a firm that has been identified with high-frequency trading.
Right.
So, if anything, we have a firm here that's been around for 17+ years, that has been a service provider to hundreds of broker-dealers who hold millions of retail customer accounts. And this firm for 17 years has proven themselves to be able to navigate retail clients through a rather complex market structure that at times is predatory. And it is unfortunate that the events that occurred.
Right. I was going to say help them navigate, except for last week.
Yes.
When this software so-called glitch happened, or this transferring to a new software program. How do you take that problem and now relate it to your position on regulation?
Right. So, our position on regulation, if you look at how rules are introduced into the marketplace, there's basically two ways in which it's done. One is through an SEC initiatives. These tend to be very big issues like decimals. When rules are introduced into the marketplace on issues that large, the SEC has a rather large comment period. There's a lot of intense due diligence, cost-benefit analysis is done. The second way rules are introduced into the marketplace is through an SRO rulemaking proposal. So
through a what?
SRO rule proposals, and through that process, this allows exchanges to compete among themselves, both domestically and internationally, and also with alternative trading venues. And the concerns that we have with this process is that there's just a sheer volume of SRO rule proposals that have been hitting the marketplace since around 2008. And every time one comes to the marketplace, it requires firms to do some type of technology change or pay attention to it. So the more rules that you have entering the marketplace, the more system enhancements have to be done at various firms, and you just increase the likelihood that glitches like this occur.
So this, you're saying, what happened at Knight Capital is in response to the second part about how rules are made. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is we have an environment where rules are being placed into the marketplace. Firms are being forced to do enhancements to their systems to be either in compliance with the rule, or to be competitive with the rule, or to make business decisions.
But is this what happened here at Knight Capital? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, what I'm suggesting here is that if you look at it, there was a rule that was introduced into the marketplace. It required Knight to make a change to their systems, and in doing that change to their systems, the glitch occurred.
Okay. So how would you alleviate this problem?
Well, I think one of the things that we would like to see the SEC do here is that we realize that the SRO rulemaking proposal process is when applied properly, allows exchanges to compete among themselves and with alternative trading venues, and we want that to happen because we need exchanges competing with each other, because through competition there are benefits which accrue to investors. However, there is a small portion of these rule filings that we think require some type of alternative or some type of additional due diligence in the rulemaking process. And we also feel that the SEC should be given some relief as far as right now they are tied to very tight timelines on these rules, that they need to rule on them within a specific period of time. That places an enormous burden on the SEC. They are overwhelmed with these rules, and we would like to see some type of alternative solution.
So who determines what portion of these rules then should require more due diligence?
Correct, yeah. So we there's an SRO rulemaking proposal. You have the SEC initiatives. A rule comes into the marketplace. Which model do we use to do it? There are efficiencies in both. There are also some shortcomings in both, and we feel that the decision-making process, which determines which process we're going to use could use some review.
But Jim, you can't possibly, though, imagine that every time something like this happens, you change the way rules are made. You can't be reactive like that. That's not how regulation works. And that's what you seem to be suggesting.
Yeah, we are suggesting that. Yeah, I mean, and to give you an idea of the numbers that we're talking about.
But then you'd be reacting to every incident that happened. There are going to be other. Unfortunately, you know, since 2010, when we saw the flash crash, there have been other instances of irregularities in the markets. You can't possibly change the way rules are made just simply because you get incident by incident to be reactive.
Well, that's correct, and that's why we're taking a longer-term look at this. We're not looking at one particular incident. We are looking at a series of events that have occurred. We are asking that if you take a look at the numbers on this, the sheer numbers, in 2009, there were 1,400 SRO rule filings. Of those 1,400, the SEC identified 60 to be what they would consider novel or complex. And it's really those 60 that we're talking about some type of a new procedure to be involved in extra due diligence and a longer timeline for the SEC to allow market participants to comment on it and to test their systems. We're not, so that's, you know, just to be clear, we're not looking to overhaul the whole SRO rulemaking process. It is a small percentage of rules that we're asking them to look at. Okay.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Jim Toes, the president and CEO of the Security Traders Association, a lobby group for the securities traders industry. Now.